Happy hump day to everybody. Thanks for clicking on to the European Outlook for today. The date is now the 26th of March. We're fair rattling through not only March, but also the year so far. Incredible stuff, actually, when you think about it. But if you're enjoying the content here on the channel, be sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. Greatly appreciated. Some lovely comments coming through. Nice feedback as well. I do greatly appreciate that also. And I hope you can stick around because we do have plenty more going on as we progress through the next few weeks. April Outlook should be released towards the end of this week, into the weekend. And we're going to be starting to look more and more towards the ideas regarding summer season and also the tropical season as well. But this is the current temperatures on the face of it as of 4:45 on this Wednesday evening. We've got some cool pockets, we've got some milders as well in places, but nothing really standoutish in terms of temperature across the continent. And these are the current temperatures across the British Isles at the moment as well. We do have, with sunshine, some relatively pleasant temperatures out there. We are talking about the 16s and 17s at this hour across southern portions of the UK, but even across eastern areas of Scotland, we're talking about 14 Celsius at the moment, probably a notch above average for this stage in March. Looking at the latest radar imagery, then you can see that we've got plenty of sunshine across the bulk of England and Wales, a little bit more in the way of cloud, medium to high level cloud at that. Some breaks in that cloud as well across the north parts of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Also seeing that we've got a little bank of cloud running through the Irish Sea as well. But you've got the near continent, we've got some sunshine to speak about over much of Ukraine, actually talking about some clear skies. Also over southern Finland. Is that snow I'm seeing, or is it just maybe colder air? I'm not so sure. But nevertheless, you can see the areas of cloud interspersed with sunshine. We do have a bit of a blip coming up as we move towards the latter half of this working week. Area of low pressure that will move through is going to deliver some increased wind and rain, mix of rain, sleet, and even hill snow to speak about also. This is the GFS 500 millibar geopotential heights. The current situation as of Monday, so this is going back to the beginning of the week, we had that trough trapped beneath a sea of high pressure surrounding that feature. That system then pivoted its way eastwards. We're seeing the high pressure building in over the UK and Ireland. You can see here that trough is actually digging further south over Algeria and Tunisia, putting a little bit of a break in some of that heat that we've been seeing in recent times as well. But as we move towards the latter half of this week, you can see that we lose the high for a period of time. We've got a relatively deep area of low pressure that moves through. That swings eastwards, and then essentially what we're seeing is while that trough eventually starts to move eastwards across the Mediterranean, we're also seeing the area of low pressure that affects the Thursday-Friday time frame that will move east, and we're essentially building the high back in over the UK and Ireland. So yes, a few folks maybe jumping in the fact that I thought you were saying high pressure, drier than average is going to be the rule. Yes, it will be, generally speaking, but we're going to have these little blips in between. But you can see here by the time we reach the latter half of the weekend, according to the GFS model, we've got this high building over the UK and Ireland. It looks as if it's going to stick around through at least the first week of April. That then continues to keep this dry theme going, and we'll also see a bit of a drop in the temperatures in association with that low coming up through the late portion of this week. So you can see here that as we go back towards the beginning of the week, play through this loop, you can see here that we have these kind of cooler starts to the day, then it goes above average during the afternoon period. Got mild conditions at the moment here through the course of today. And as that trough and low pressure then moves in, we're going to see something a little bit colder coming in, and then essentially we just return to this kind of high pressure, milder than average regime. It'd be interesting to see just how warm it gets here, because some of these anomalies showing up by the time we reach the middle and second half of next week is indicating temperatures a good 5 to 8 Celsius above average. So we'll keep an eye on that actually. We may see a little bit of a surge of warmth as we begin the month of April. So something just worth watching going forward. So I showed you the GFS in terms of the upper heights. Let's have a look at the icon model today, and we'll go to the broader view. And is it going to give me that? No, it isn't. I don't think. No, it's not giving me the option on the icon model. So we'll play through the loop anyway. You can see what happens as we go through the next 24, 36, 48 hours. Got a little system that moves through during the course of tonight. Then we've got another feature. This is the area of low pressure then that then swings a cold front southeastwards, bringing a spell of heavy rainfall, but also we're seeing a pinch in the isobars indicating stronger winds, and then it's on that backside, it's going to tug in some of that slightly colder air across the north of the UK in particular, and we're going to pick up some wintry precipitation, but it's over high ground. It's not going to be anything significant by any stretch, and obviously we know that at this time of the year you can get decent amounts of snow and also even late season winter cold, but it's just not been a pattern really for that. And I don't really see anything on the horizon in terms of anything significantly cold, but we'll keep an eye on that. We'll look at the moderate, medium range stuff probably in tomorrow's video, but this is really just the remainder of this week we're looking at. So you can see off the icon model, it's indicating that area of low pressure passes just to the north of the UK, bringing wind, rain, and hill snow. Looking at the ECMWF, we'll pan out slightly and see the bigger picture. So again, there's that high pressure at the moment, keeping things reasonably settled. Got this frontal feature that moves through during the latter half of tomorrow. Area of low pressure seen by the ECMWF actually dropping into the 970s in millibars. So that's the lowest pressure essentially we've seen all month, and probably extending well into the month of February. The last time we've seen heights down as low as 980 millibars. I think the lowest at this station here has been 996 millibars for the entire month. So that is going to change as we move towards the latter half of the very final days of the month. But it's the chillier air on the back side of that will be notable because we have the mild conditions at the moment pushing through. But you can see another system running around the top of that high, and then the high builds in, exerting its influence, settling things down once again. And that looks as if that's going to continue all the way through the week 1 of April. And I would suggest anyway that we will continue to see high pressure dominating at least the first half of April. Finally, looking at the 850s, then you can see how what kind of air mass we're dealing with. So back to the current period, we've got the relatively mild air 850 over us at the moment. Play through the loop, you can see there's that area of low pressure dropping into the 970s and millibars. Colder air in the backside, nothing particularly notable, nothing extreme by any stretch, but it will certainly just create a little bit of a nip back into the air once again. Get another feature that runs through. Then we've got that high that builds in. Again, relatively mild air associated with that. And we may actually see some of the mildest air at 850 all year coming up if that area of high pressure perhaps nudges just to the east of the UK, allows a southerly flow, and with warmer air building over northern Africa and the Mediterranean, we may tug some of that and import some of that milder air into the UK and Ireland here. So a bit of a wet and windy weekend coming up. A little bit of a shock to the system because we've gotten used to this higher pressure dominated pattern, this dry theme. That will continue, but this is just a slight bump in the road, so to speak. So I hope you enjoyed today's content. As always, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with more. Bye for now.